Well, if you ever wanted a size comparison between the bucket on my Coyote CX 2510 and my Sears 10XL, there it is. Honestly, I bet this bucket weighs almost as much as this whole garden tractor right now. It's heavy, the bucket. But anyway, I had a little bit of time today, so I thought I might see if I can't get something going with this plow setup. Little recap here. This is an international snowplow. In a previous video, I had already cut the original mounting setup. So now what's left is basically these two pieces that fit on the front deal there, and you can put pin it on there. I have kind of a design in my head. It's not going to be super fancy or anything, and it's not going to be the strongest setup, but I have a feeling I'm never going to work this tractor hard enough really to bend it up. But it involves some angle iron that I have up on my bench that I need to cut. In a way, I'm kind of just mimicking the design that is already on this Sears, and this is a Sears plow. And I wanted to find a Sears plow to put on this, but where I'm from, they are very hard to come by, especially for the custom series. I see them more for like the Suburbans, but the custom series ones, the 4-bolt like this, I never see these in Iowa, or at least not often. But they basically just used, really heavy angle iron, and it's kind of ingenious, really, from a manufacturing standpoint. So I'm just gonna kind of copy that, and I'm even gonna use the, I don't know what you would even call these things, I guess supports that come up and bolt on almost halfway across the frame. They just support the bottom of the assembly, so when you lift it up, it doesn't bend the axle too bad. And of course, when you're digging into dirt or gravel or rocks or whatever, it helps distribute the force of weight against the front of the unit. So, but anyway, I'm gonna do some measuring, and I know I'm probably gonna have to flip this thing onto the other side because, as stated in my previous video on this, I'm going to use the mowing deck adjustment lever to raise and lower the plow using a linkage or a rod between this handle and the plow. So this isn't, it's just for fun. I like putting snow plows on pretty much every garden tractor I've ever had, so as long as it's functional. So I have some angle iron that I've had for ages. It's kind of thin. I don't like that, but I already own it. I don't have to buy any. So I did some measuring. I'm gonna cut two sections at 8 inches, and these are gonna attach to the axle. And then I'm gonna cut another piece that's gonna go in between these, but I'm gonna get these two cut first, and then I have to drill some holes. So these pieces are gonna be like this. So I'm gonna drill 2 holes, and I'm gonna have the, the angled side inward, and Then I measured already, but I'm going to I'm gonna weld these pieces right onto that angle iron. And once they're welded in, if you remove the bolts from that angle iron in this pin, then the whole assembly will just come apart easily. So in fact, the original mount that was hooked to this plow, I'm not even exactly sure, because it was like permanent. So it was, I'm not even sure how you're supposed to get it on there in the first place. So this design, it'll come apart a little bit easier. And I measured already with both of these pieces square, and I got 11 inches, 11 3/4 inches, so nearly a foot. So that'll be the width between these two pieces of angle iron. So I got the 2 holes marked. So I'm gonna drill these out first, and then I can just butt the other one up against it and transfer the same position onto the next one so they're the same. Got that in the vise. Here's my drill, and the best drill bits ever made. 20 bucks at Harbor Freight. So far I've only lost 2 of them. Got my oiler because it helps. And I kept losing my chuck out of my drill, so I made this. I thought I'd show that. Won't really fall off of the bench unless you turn it, pull it out if you want to put it back away. You'd have to have a heck of an earthquake to lose that. So I got this mocked up. The 2 pieces I cut and drilled holes into I have on there. I cut a 14 3/4 inch long piece of angle iron, put it on the bottom, pretty much the same way it is on that Sears plow over there. The bottom piece here, I'm gonna have to drill holes, and I'm gonna put bolts through them, because when you put all this together, this bottom piece has to be able to separate from the 2 ends. That way the I don't know what you call them, the little pins or whatever, will go through these holes properly. I have to cut and grind this pin here, or whatever it's called, out of there, so then this will sit flush against the angle iron. With all the cutting and grinding I'm doing in here, I kind of don't want this landlord in here. So I'm going to see if it'll fire up and drive it outside. So I got the angle iron tacked on to these plow mounts. Nice little tacks just to hold it together. It's going to be a pretty easy weld, considering I have a lip right there to put the weld. So it's nice and straight and flush, and I hope these, if I was welding this up on a bench, a vise or something like that, I would do a much better job than sitting on the floor, but I don't have my, I don't want to weld up on my wooden bench, so I'm sitting on the concrete, but let's see what we can do.